How do you flip an entire conference with a single decision? How do you turn a great team into a terrifying inevitability? What if the one move everyone laughs off in public is the exact move being whispered in the rooms where seasons are actually decided? If you're a Detroit fan who's felt the ground shake these last few months, lean in, because the tremor you feel might not be an earthquake. It might be the league's most audacious plan finally waking up. Welcome back to Lions News. Fan Report, the home base for Detroit diehards who want the truth, the tactics, the cap math, and the locker room reality. Today, I'm putting everything on the table: the rumor itself, the on-field fit, the culture test, the financial blueprint, the trade framework, the timeline, and the early tells you can spot before any insider dares to print it. If you stay to the end, you'll know exactly what to watch for in the next 10, 20, 30 days, and how one decision could redraw the NFC map overnight. Detroit has stopped apologizing for ambition. That's the starting point. This roster is built to win now, with a line that mauls, a skill group that punishes mismatches, and a defense that finally hits back. The window isn't hypothetical anymore. It's open. And when a window is open, a front office either climbs through or dies staring at it. That's why this idea won't die. It's bigger than a headline. It's a thesis about championship football. Maximize January edges, minimize January mistakes. Here's the skeleton of the rumor before we put muscle on it. An NFC powerhouse. Quarterback praised for processing and poise, still on a team that believes it can have it all, but facing the same gravity everyone faces when the numbers get real and the trophy case stares back. Detroit's interest is described as exploratory, high wire, and ruthless. Not because there's a problem in Motown, there isn't, but because champions don't wait for problems, they prevent them. On the field, imagine this offense, with a surgeon behind a center who turns timing into violence. Picture motion that isn't just window dressing, but a lie detector. Think quick game that looks harmless until it rips out 18 yards on a glance route. Play action that freezes a safety for a blink and opens a dig like a canyon. Pocket movement that resets launch points without sacrificing rhythm. Think about how a quarterback like that would weaponize a route artist in the slot, a yards after catch, tight end who refuses to go down, and a run game that forces linebackers to choose between honesty and humiliation. Now flip to the psychological war. This move would be a taunt to the entire NFC. Detroit isn't satisfied being a great story. Detroit wants to be the problem you can't solve. It's also a message to every contender. Sentiment doesn't win Lombardis, precision does. And the kind of precision this rumor hints at is the kind that makes defensive coordinators tap their pens and start crossing out blitz pages they love. Let's talk obstacles, because there are plenty. Current roster commitments, draft capital, the politics of star movement, the sheer audacity of convincing a rival to consider a conversation. You don't do this without courage and creativity. You might need a three-team structure. You might need conditional picks, a player sweetener other GMs actually covet, and a contract architecture built like a suspension bridge, light in year one, reinforced in the years where banners are realistic. Before we drop the name, here are your early tells. 1. Sudden restructures for veterans who didn't seem to need them. Cap flexibility isn't a mood, it's a plan. 2. A loud stretch of public praise for the QB room, followed by a strangely quiet 2-week window. That's how teams hide in plain sight. 3. The agent ecosystem starts taking unrelated meetings in the Midwest. 4. A run of no comment answers from people who usually over-explain. When noise goes silent, something heavier is moving. Culturally, this move only works if the quarterback is wired for accountability at Detroit's level. This locker room runs on grit, humility, and honest conversation. Your QB can't just throw dots. He has to eat film, Live in the building and set a tempo the rookies can copy. He must be unflappable when January squeezes the pocket and ruthless when the defense blinks. In short, it has to be a grown-up who treats every second and sevens like a chessboard. All right. Deep breath. The name you've been thinking but refusing to say out loud. Brock Purdy. Sit with it. Let the electricity run up your spine. The assassin of timing, the prince of pocket relocation, the guy who turned. Anticipation throws into a weekly sermon. Drop him into Detroit's weapon set, and the word efficient becomes inevitable. Suddenly, the 5-yard stick becomes third and never mind. The play-action glance becomes a scar on a coordinator's whiteboard. The boot to the boundary becomes a rope to the back shoulder you can't defend without sacrificing the box. Purdy's game is the marriage of calm eyes and violent feet, exactly what a top-5 line and a bully run game are begging to amplify. Tactically, it's a hand-in-glove fit. Detroit wants to live in 11 and 12 personnel with motions that stress rules and routes that layer the middle of the field. Purdy lives on leverage. He doesn't need windows, he manufactures angles, he punishes depth errors from hook defenders, he throws with pace, not panic. Imagine the high red zone menu, condensed splits, motion across the face, option routes for the tight end, flare tag to punish zero, and a QB who throws the glance as if it's a layup. Add a slot technician feasting on option choice, a power, back-forcing single high, and you've got a circle of hell problem for DCs. Take away one lever, the other 3 snap. Now, the cost. If San Francisco is locked in long-term, you need either a seismic shift there or a perfect storm here. Blockbuster doesn't even begin to cover it. Think multiple firsts, a premium player, and creative protections. Think optionality in the language, per-game active bonuses, roster guarantees tied to playoff weeks, escalators for conference title appearances. Detroit's path would likely involve front-loading certainty, picks, while back-loading risk, escalators, building a case that your floor is safe, your ceiling gets paid. The year 1 cap hit can be softened via signing bonus proration in void years. The question isn't can it fit? It's is the ring equity worth the price? What about the current QB room? Respect is non-negotiable. You don't ignite a civil war. You set expectations privately and communicate like adults. Competition doesn't have to be chaos if the plan is honest. Detroit can hold 2 truths: gratitude for what's been built and hunger for the edge that wins in January. If the move never materializes, the rumor still had value. It forced the organization to test its own courage. If it does materialize, you'd better have a rollout choreography. The call, the room, the message, the first practice where everybody feels the tempo shift and says, okay, that's different. Timeline and smoke signals, rapid fire, pre-deadline chatter heats if injuries anywhere in the league distort leverage. Post-season windows open when numbers force decisions and egos cool. Watch for organizational alignment quotes. That's code for we're bracing the walls. If you see a wave of restructures and a beat reporter suddenly talking about evaluating the quarterback market holistically, that's not ambient noise. That's the warm-up band leaving the stage. Counterpunch. Time, because there is always a counterpunch. Argument A, why break what's working? Fair. Chemistry matters. But chemistry plus an elite January edge is how dynasties are born. Argument B, they'll never trade him. People said that about plenty of stars until cap math, ego, or timing said otherwise. Argument C, the price will gut the roster. Not if you draft with intention and use void years like a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. The reality, bold, doesn't mean reckless. Bold means deliberate, with escape hatches and pressure valves built in. So where does this land? 3 scenarios. 1, the moonshot, wildly unlikely but alive until cold numbers crush it. 2, the slow burn, conversations stay theoretical, while both sides create optionality, and the league silently prepares for a summer twist. 3. Leverage theater. The rumor exists to move other pieces, and Detroit just used the mere possibility to raise its own standards. Pick your path in the comments, 1, 2, or 3, and tell me the one cap move you'd make tomorrow to keep the door open. Here's the truth no one can spin. The Lions have grown out of nice story and into hard problem. Adding the most ruthlessly efficient distributor in football would turn the problem into a nightmare. Maybe it never happens. Maybe it's impossible. But champions don't ask, is it polite? They ask, does it raise the trophy odds? If this rumor reaches fire from smoke, you'll feel it before you see it. First in the cap sheet, then in the press conferences, then in the huddle. I'll end where I started, with the question that keeps GMs awake when the building is dark and the stadium is quiet. Do you dare make the move that makes the whole league mad at you? Detroit finally can. Whether it should is the conversation we were built to have. Drop your take, hit like, subscribe, and turn on alerts, because if even a flicker of this becomes real, we're going live with film, numbers, and the clearest answer you'll hear anywhere: what Brock Purdy and Honolulu Blue would actually do to the NFC.